Thanks for watching the sophomore presentation. First, just want to make quickly sure everybody knows who their counselor is. Your counselor is based off of your child's last name. Next, I want to make sure you're familiar with the counseling website. Especially for sophomore year, there is a lot of things here that can really help you and your student be successful. So if your child is thinking about taking an ACC class this coming summer, all resources will be right here. If you're wanting to see where students in the past have gone, you can look here and this will show where past graduates have attended. If you're wanting to look ahead for applying to college information, that's here. Course selection, grade level presentation. So this presentation is linked right here. We're looking ahead at SAT and ACT testing and test prep, all going to be here. And some of this we're going to be covering in this presentation. For example, we're going to talk about career assessment and exploration. That's all here. Senior year, you'll be spending a lot of time at scholarships and financial aid. So many really good resources you can already be accessing right now. Okay, next let's talk about rank and GPA. We hit this a lot in freshman year as well, but I just want to quickly recap all the resources we have on our handout to talk about 5.0 and 4.0 GPA. So we've got two different ones. The 5.0 GPA is what we use for class rank. And again, Westwood only ranks the top 10% of our students, and that's based off of state law. The rest of our students just don't have a rank, and this is in our favor. So this is when colleges only have automatic admission for top 10% or top 6%. This is where Westwood gets so many other students in to colleges because colleges now have to look at the whole picture and review students holistically. So they look at the test scores, the grades, versus just making it an automatic no or an automatic yes. So this is really beneficial. So in here, what we do is we have all the handouts you could use. So a 5.0 GPA. It'll come up as a PDF, which you can download and so that way you can turn it sideways. It tells you if you're taking an advanced course, the grade you get, how many GPA points you get, versus an on-level, if you get a certain grade, how many points. There is a 10-point difference between advanced and AP and IB and TAG versus on-level. So I do want to point that out. Some students think if they just take all advanced, it's going to help their GPA so much. Here's the thing. If you're not making a 90, you're not getting really the extra points. I mean, you're getting a 10-point boost. So an 80 in advanced is like a 90 and on level. But when you're playing the overall kind of your workload, if you're making an 80 in all advanced courses, when you're probably putting hours and hours of work into it, you might be able to take some of those classes at on level, make a high A, and actually get higher GPA points. So I don't want students to think, oh, I just need to take all advanced. A lot of times that doesn't help. It's usually finding a good balance of advanced and on level. I always say play to your strengths. If you love math and science and you don't mind doing homework for those courses, it comes easy for you. Take those and maybe do on level English and social studies, or vice versa. So play to your strengths. So next handout is the sample transcript. If you click on it, again, you'll be able to download it. It teaches you how to calculate your 5.0 weighted GPA. So if you use this, it clearly will teach you. I know a lot of students like to calculate it themselves. Go for it. This is a great tool that'll make it very simple for you. The next handout is the 4.0 GPA scale. Students want to know, why don't colleges use this? Well, here's why. Whether you make a 100 or a 90, you get 4 points. Whether it's multivariable calculus or PE, you get 4 points. So it's not really the most accurate for colleges to get an idea of what the workload and everything and difficulty level, because if you make a 100 in PE and a 90 in multivariable calculus, you're getting the same GPA points. This is used a lot for NCAA purposes, but you're not going to really ever see it in the college application process. So 5.0 is really where you want to spend your time learning about. Next is endorsements versus academies. Again, we talked about this in freshman year, so I won't spend lots of time here because all the resources are here. Academies are 3 to 4 year course sequences. These are elective based. So if you start a sequence your freshman year or sophomore year and take the sequence, you can earn a colored stole to wear at graduation. So a little bit of bling. So, for example, we have this on our website. So, for animation, if you start in digital media, go to animation 1, animation 2, and or maybe even to practicum, you can get a colored soul for the business academy for doing that. Same for all of these different pathways. You can get sashes to wear at graduation. These are completely optional. They are not required for graduation. However, endorsements are required for graduation. Everybody must have one. Sometimes I'll have parents ask, should my student try to get multiple endorsements? Will colleges look at that more highly? Absolutely not. Colleges only care that you have one so that you could graduate high school. That's it. They do not care. Endorsements are a little bit different. They can be academy based or they can be academic based. So, for example, the page we showed before on the academies, anything that's elective based pathway can earn you an endorsement. So, again, remember I talked about animation. So, if you do that pathway of animation, you'll earn a business and industry endorsement. Same thing for public service. If you do 4 years of health science, you can get the public service endorsement. STEM. If you take the comp sci or engineering pathway, you can get a STEM endorsement. However, you'll see down here in the white boxes that aren't in the gray circle, you will see there's academic options. So for example, for STEM, if you take 5 math courses, you can get a STEM endorsement. If you take 5 science courses, you can get a STEM endorsement. Here's where there's a difference. If your endorsement is in one of these white rectangles, there is no sash for graduation for it. The only ones that get sashes are the ones in the gray boxes that are also academies. So I just want to point that out. So sashes are for the classes that are elective based in the gray versus endorsements are in the white boxes. They're academic based. There's no sashes for those. Okay, next, STAR. So you've already been taking some of these. You started last year. Some of you might have started in 8th grade, but this year you will all be taking the English 2 STAR test. Some of you will also be taking U.S. history, depending if you're in a U.S. history course this year. So just FYI. So those will come in the spring. You must pass all 5 of these for high school graduation. So now we're going to just look a little ahead for course selection for next year. You're going to be starting this in January. So this is really just to get you thinking. So a quick reminder, remember everybody before they graduate must have these 27 credits. You can have a lot more than 27, but you have to have these 27 to graduate high school in Texas. So you're going to have 4 English, 4 math, 4 social studies, 4 science. You also have to have 2 foreign languages, 1 fine art, 1 PE, and then 7 other courses. Okay, English. So all of you are sitting here in 10th grade English. So you're sitting in either English 2 or an advanced English 2. So your choices you'd be looking at for 11th grade, and this is how it's going to work. You're going to be now looking at the 11th grade column. So you can choose between regular English 3, AP English 3, IB English 3. You could be looking at ACC dual credit. You could be looking at on-ramps English 3. Multiple options. These are going to be things you're going to talk about with your counselor and your English teacher to make the best decision for you. Next, for math. Again, you're going to look for the 10th grade math you're sitting in this year, and then move over to the right for your 11th grade. So if you're sitting in geometry this year, you could pick between Algebra 2 or on-ramps college algebra. If you're sitting in AP Pre-Cal, you're going to be looking between AP Calculus AB or AP Calculus BC. Again, this is when you're going to talk to your math teacher and your counselor. If you're on the IB pathway and you're looking for math, you're going to again look at the 10th grade column and then move over to the 11th grade column to decide which math class you're going to be taking next year. You're going to not only talk to your math teacher, you're going to talk to your IB coordinator as well to make this decision. Next is social studies. So 10th grade, you're going to look for where you're at, and then you're going to look over to 11th grade column to see where you're going to be taking next year. Science. Everybody should be in IPC or chemistry or advanced chemistry this year. Then you're going to want to look over to the 11th grade column to see which science you're going to take as an 11th grader. Foreign language. If you have not already completed your language or started a language, you need to start it next year because you have to have 2 years of the same language. So you're only going to have 2 years left to go for junior and senior year. We offer Spanish, German, French, sign language, and Chinese. Fine art and PE. Remember, everybody must take 1 year of each. So choir, art, theater, tech theater, orchestra, band, dance, and color guard. You will notice the little asterisks next to these 3 and that they're also listed over in the PE column. If you take band, dance, or color guard, you can not only earn your fine art credit, you also can earn your PE credit. So under the PE, besides these, you've got functional fitness, team sports, athletics, so any of your sports, are the ROTC program. That can count as your PE credit. Then we have all the other academy electives you can choose from. So what I did is put them in, again, the pathways that your child is in. So if you're in 10th grade, Aerospace Science 2, which is ROTC 2, you would move over to Aerospace Science 3, ROTC 3. If you're in Fashion Design 2, you'd move over into Practicum. So you're going to want to find your elective pathway, find the class you're in, and then move over one to the side. So if you're in AV Production 1, you're going to go to AV Production 2 next year. Same for more of these courses. Again, just look for the 10th grade column in the class you're in, and then move over one spot. If you started a pathway in 10th grade instead of 9th, so for example, let's say you started modern dance as a 10th grader, you would actually be going into the next level as an 11th grader. Since you're able to start any of these pathways in freshman or sophomore year. So just make sure you're putting the next course after the course you're in. And again, your elective teacher will also help you sign up for the correct course come January. Other resources that are going to be very helpful are the Round Rock ISD course catalog, but what I love more is the Westwood Virtual Choice Sheet, which you can get here. This is from the Westwood Counseling website, the virtual course selection information. If you click the Westwood Choice Sheet, all your courses are here. So for example, if you're trying to decide on what science to take next year, if you click on a class and get a good 1-page course description that you'll be able to look at that our teachers created. So you'll see for AP Environmental Science, it's for 11th and 12th graders. You have to already have biology and chemistry credit. Our teachers give you a short description of the topics they cover, the grading structure, the description of the instructional style, how many tests, and how much homework you're going to be looking at. So this is a really good tool, and every single class on our choice sheet you can click on to get that description and know that it was created by our teachers. Okay, next, I really want to talk about balance. So when you're picking your 8 classes for next year, I always say pick your 4 hardest classes. Could you have them all on Orange Day? Because guess what? There's a chance you could have your hardest classes all on one day. And we want to make sure you'd be successful. If not, you really want to go back and maybe lighten your load. Next, again, we talked about this a lot in freshman year. I want you to take a quick kind of analysis over what you've been doing from freshman year on. You need to make sure you're getting involved and taking care of extracurricular and things like that. So let's click on the resume sample. So when you click on it, it looks kind of funny. Make sure you're downloading it, and then it'll look very nice and neat. Click Enable Editing. So what you can do is literally type over this and make it your own. So type your name in, type in your GPA. You're going to put in your courses. You're going to list out your extracurricular, whether these are Westwood activities or non-Westwood activities. Leadership you've taken on. Any awards or honors? What do you do in your summers? Any volunteer community service? Work experience. This can be an official job or it can be pet sitting or babysitting. Things that show at college people can trust you and you're reliable. If you're needing volunteer options, there are some listed here as well. And again, you've got a couple more years to get this added too. But this is really meant to push you. Maybe you're kind of a shy person, but you're maybe in the French club. Well, maybe next year there's an opening for secretary and you could run for the secretary position. This is your way of making sure you're stepping out of your comfort zone and getting involved while you're at school. So that's what I would take note of here. You've got a couple more years, but that's it. So if you're not sure what you're wanting to study, just know on our counseling website, and I pointed to it earlier, is the career assessments and exploration. On there, I've got all these different free options for you to take that are interest-based, personality-based, value-based, and ability and skill-based. I recommend taking one assessment under each area and then kind of Venn diagram of them to see which things are all in common. So if it's saying, a PA in all four areas, then that's probably a good option. Versus interest based, what if you get professional sports player? Well, you might be interested in sports, but maybe you don't have the skill level to be a professional sports player. But maybe in across all four of them, it's saying personal trainer or a physical therapist. That might be a better way of bringing your interest, but with your skill and value and personality as well. So I cannot stress enough to click here and go through some of those tests. They're all free. You can do them at home in your pajamas. Okay, last couple reminders is don't procrastinate. Everything is adding up. College applications start the summer after junior year. So it's so important to get moving and get started and make really good habits. Make sure you're checking your grades daily in home access. You need to be checking your student email multiple times every day so you're not missing out on opportunities that you could be taking advantage of. If teachers are offering you help, tutorials, flex, take advantage of that if you're struggling. And ask for help. Teachers appreciate when you're honest and open with them, so I cannot stress enough. Also, always do your homework the day it's assigned. That way you have time to go in for help before it's due. If you wait till the last minute, it never is good for your stress or for getting things completed. I hope this helped.